Greetings, future scholars and academics. So, I've been getting a lot of messages from YouTube, and one of the important questions I've gotten is, what was your journey to arrive at Texas A&M? We want to hear about your personal story. What is your journey? How did you arrive here? So, it's long. I like to keep my personal story personal, but since you asked, it seems like I will share. So it all started many years ago. So, anyways, I'll share that with you. I think it's important that you. I think stories are important. It really helps, you know, people just connect with people, and just it's just a way to see how people has transitioned, especially when you think that there's, you're going through a lot, or you feel like you can't really make it through, difficult times. And when you hear people's story, and especially when you hear how they overcame, or how that you're not just the only one facing the same type of problems, you can relate. But anyways, I cut the long I'm not going to cut the long story short, but just cut what I was saying earlier short. But because I know you want to hear a story, so and I will tell you a story. So it all started, more than a decade ago. I was working. Let me take you back to undergraduate. So I studied materials and metallurgical engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Nigeria. And this is a school that is known for, technology innovation. It's known for its very good hands-on, learning. So, I went to Futo. That was from 2004 to 2009, roughly. And I graduated with a degree in materials and metallurgical engineering. And I started working of course, before that, you have to go through a 1 year service in Nigeria. There's a 1 year service where you, regardless of your discipline, you have to do what is called the National Youth Service, where you have to be sent somewhere to serve for a year. But anyways, you can Google that and find out what that means. So I did that for a year, and I started working. I work both upstream and downstream oil and gas in Nigeria, and that was a fun time. And I did this for a couple of years, almost 5 years. And during that time, I enrolled in the University of Lagos. There was a program called the Master of Process Engineering. It was a combined, majors from petroleum engineering and chemical engineering. And then I started that program. It was very difficult because it was very time consuming. The driving wasn't fun as well. I had to deal with Lagos traffic, because it was a face-to-face class. I had to take classes during the weekend and some weekdays, mostly during the weekends. Uh, but of course, if you want to meet, for example, a professor during the office hours, you need to go during the weekdays. So it was a lot. But I went through that, and during that time, I also, yeah, I was in the middle of that, and for some reason, I like to overwork myself. Maybe I like being very active, so I registered for another program at the National Open University in Victoria Island, Lagos, where I did my MBA. So I was running the M.P.E program and the M.B.A program almost concurrently, and it was a total, I don't want to, I'm going to, find some time and tell you how I went through that in another video. But for this video, I just want to answer the question how I got to Texas A&M. So it was an interesting time. I did both program concurrently. I finished sometime in let me look at the certificates again. Sometime in 2013, just right when I was applying to start my PhD program at Florida State. So, and around 2012, 2013, I started, in fact, because of the programs I was doing then, the M.P.E program and the M.B.A program, it was really challenging me more. I felt like, I needed to know more. I felt like I wanted to write this big thesis, this dissertation, And all of a sudden, I started, researching about PhD programs and, and I started researching about how, what programs really will give me one hands-on experience. I like theory. Theory, I mean, what I mean by theory, I mean engineering fundamentals. I love doing engineering work. As an engineer, you would just love that by default. However, I wanted more practical experience. I felt like I felt like I had a lot of knowledge at the same time, disconnected from the practical know-how, meaning that I understand the basics, the fundamentals, but I don't think I know how to connect it with, application. I felt like something was missing there. I felt this gap all the time I was studying, especially the process engineering. It really pushed me really hard, especially when I was taking some courses and especially, taking courses that would, relate things like chemistry to some system processes and all that stuff. So I just became fascinated about process engineering, period. So I was looking for a program that would help me, you know, showcase or really help me, understand process engineering, not just the fundamentals or the basics, or the theory, but I wanted to know how to apply it. So I went on looking at different universities, different programs, and I came across industrial systems engineering. It was very, diverse in terms of disciplines. As a material guy, with a process engineering degree, that is a material with a as a process engineering guy with a material engineering background, I wanted to challenge myself with, something that would bring, a lot of engineering discipline together. So it was an easy choice, So industrial systems engineering. In fact, for my undergrad initially, I wanted to do systems engineering, and that's a story for another day. So I've always been fascinated about the way systems work and the synergy between people, process, systems, and how these things connect, and how this would make, an engineering, how this will facilitate engineering, period. So, anyways, then I chose industrial systems engineering. I wanted to do industrial systems, but now I noticed the curriculum here in the United States. I noticed it was very multi-faced, meaning that in industrial systems engineering, there was one part of it which was core IE, and this was core IE is industrial engineering. This was more dealing with things like optimization, looking at statistics, system principles, and just very mathematical, statistical side of system processes. How you can make things work faster, better, quicker, easier, reduce time reduction. For example, if you were doing a routing process for logistics, how to get from point A to point B faster, how to reduce time, efficiency, things like that. And there was another part of industrial system engineering that was manufacturing. This was looking at the same type of using different engineering processes to connect to help manufacturing better, easier, faster. And in one particular thing that really struck me was now coming from my materials background was how I could design new materials to make them, lighter composites, more efficient, and these materials would, in fact, in most cases, would have functionality, meaning that this was the new era for material design. This was how innovations would work. These were materials that could be taken from Earth to space, and there was just the opportunity at that point was, I was just like, wow, this is good. Anyways, I started looking at different universities, where I could study this industrial systems engineering. I took my GRE at the time. I believe at the time I took GRE over a decade ago, it requires you to select 5 universities, and I did. And they would send your result to these schools, so you do. And if you wanted to send it to more than 5, then you have to pay. So I sent to 5 schools. I'm not going to mention those schools, but of course Florida State University was one of them, and I got accepted. And when I got accepted to FSU, I of course I did the fair share of dealing with how to navigate graduate school, and that was not something I like to remember. It was hectic. It wasn't fun. I didn't have any type of mentorship. I didn't have anyone that I could call like, hey, this is what was going on. What should I do? Or how should I answer these questions? How can I write my SOP, or that is statement of purpose? What kind of resume do I need? What kind of references should I get? Should I get more academic references? Should I get more industry type references? I had no idea. I was just praying and just doing what I could without any guidance. And that's one of the reasons and one of the things that facilitated inspired me to start Professor Ufodike brand, which is all about how to support and help 1 million students reach academic success. Now, and of course, this is the part, Graduate Excel is one of its products, right? So, moving forward, I, did my GRE, I took the exams, applied to, I believe I applied to about 5 schools at the time, and I got, for some reason, I got a couple of offers. I think I got about 3 offers at the time. And in fact, I got only one decline. The other was pending for some reason. I think there was some paperwork that didn't get to them. Because there was a lot of logistics involved in this, trying to send transcript, getting transcript from Nigeria, you had to, follow it up with things like, at the time, you had to use, of course, mail service, that would trackable mail service. So that was expensive, and in fact, I think now getting it to West and getting it West as a getting to West and getting it out of West is for me easier. How it's done now, but now to move on with my story, I got into Florida State University. This is in Tallahassee, Florida, to do a PhD in industrial engineering, and I'm just looking at my degree here. Is industrial engineering. In fact, it's industrial systems engineering, or sometimes they call it industrial manufacturing engineering for some reason. But anyways, like I mentioned, there's a system part, which is a core IE part, and there's a manufacturing part, which is more manufacturing, material science related type of work, and all this good stuff. So I went with the material side, and at the point, I was assigned an advisor, and of course, and that's a story for another day. That did not work out, and I succeeded graduating after 5 plus years with my PhD. Now, okay, there's a part of the story I did not that I think is important, and I add my PhD is not from FSU. I ended up graduating from Florida A&M University. Now, how it works is that Florida's A&M University, which is and well, Florida A&M University and Florida State University have a joint College of Engineering. I would imagine it's a very unique, you know, is a unique structure. Haven't seen that before personally. Even now, as a faculty, I haven't heard that. Aside FAMU, FSU College of Engineering, maybe some exist. From the top of my head, I do not know of such type of structure. But anyways, now that so I took I took a master's degree from Florida State University and switched to Florida A&M University for my PhD. So Florida State University gave me my third master's degree, which was a master of industrial systems engineering, and then I went on to complete my PhD from Florida A&M University. Of course, I didn't need to repeat any classes that I've taken during my master's. I just took more, research hours and maybe some other PhD core classes. Of course, there are PhD core classes, meaning classes that you must take as PhD students, and core classes as classes that you must take as master's students. So I finished my PhD in I need to look this in 2020. I should know that this is a long time ago. I finished my PhD in the spring of 2020, and COVID hit. I had all the plans to walk that stage and dance or do something crazy. I could have some pinch of craziness sometimes. I wanted to just show my excitement, and COVID hit. Next thing, no graduation. I couldn't walk down that stage. I was, that was, some disappointing times. But anyways, COVID has its. I don't think COVID came with any good thing aside teaching us how to teach online. But well, maybe more than that. But yeah, I don't have any problems with COVID, by the way. Now, after graduating from Florida A&M University, let me say this, right? Very important. So, when I was planning to graduate, because I got this offer to work here at Texas A&M University before I defended my thesis, right? So, I started applying. I applied the in fact, this is just so you know. So if you're looking to apply for a faculty position, you need to apply a year ahead, a whole full year ahead. So, for example, if I was looking for a faculty job this fall 2025, I should start applying in fall 2024, right? So, for spring 2020, that I was scheduled to graduate and defend my thesis, my PhD thesis at Florida A&M University. I started applying for faculty positions in fall 2020, fall 2019. Sorry. So I already started that application and applied to several schools. To be honest, I applied to 11 universities, and I was okay. Let me tell you. Let me say the story how that happened. So I was going for a sixth degree actually. I enrolled. I was, taking the LSAT and going for a Juris Doctorate. I wanted to do something in patent law. I was fascinated with how the structure for patent and IP and all that works, and I wanted to do something around that area. So I was I was applying to Harvard and some other schools that at that point too, I wanted to do an Ivy League at that point. So, but anyways, cut the long story short, that's the story for another day. I I spoke to a mentor at the point. I'm not gonna say, name just, but maybe at some other video. A great mentor of mine who has been there from day one, from my Tallahassee days, and he told me that I could, perhaps I should look into academia, um, academic career. So meaning, academia. I didn't see myself so much of a professor, teacher kind of vibes, but I've done a lot of course, teaching as a PhD student, TA, which is teaching assistants, and lab assistants. I've done all that sort of thing. So I've been in classroom. I'm not really worried about, you know, with talking, communicating, talking in front of people, sharing ideas and just making an impact. And when he talked to me about looking at faculty positions, I felt that was a great idea. And then that in fact, I applied to, yeah, well, I started, you know, like they say, it's good to sharpen that axe, and then before you go, take some time to sharpen that axe before you go chop down that tree. So I started, working on getting the application materials, what I needed, things like because to apply for a faculty position, you need a lot of documents. It's a lot of work. And please, if you ever need help with that, let me know. I do that all the time. I help people a lot for such applications. So faculty position applications comes with you, doing an academic resume. This is not an industry type resume. It's very unique. An academic type resume, a cover letter. Usually, if you're going for a tenure track position like myself, that was what I was applying for. You need a research statement. You need a teaching statement. You need a 5-year research plan, and you also, at that time, you also need a DEI statement. So diversity, equity and inclusion statement. But right now, the story. But that and there were other things you that is required as well. You need to, in some cases, write a proposal, and meaning that you need to really describe, and that is usually part of your 5-year plan. You need to describe what you want to do, like how you want to, because what happens with a tenure track position is that you're given 5 years to prove yourself in 3 areas. One, research. Well, I'll start with the first, because without that you can't do the second. Meaning that it's expected. The expectation is that you do great work in teaching, research, and service. So these 3 areas. So I put teaching first because you're required to teach. So if you want to sit down and do no research, well, that's on you, and that's going to reflect on your faculty evaluation, and that's going to reflect on your progress reports, and that's going to make you fail. So teaching is required because that's your job. Research is your job. You choose to do whatever you want to do. That's the flexibility you get in terms of what you choose to do, in terms of the kind of work you want to do, and the kind of area you want to explore. And that's maybe the best part of this job is the flexibility, the freedom it gives you to do whatever you want. But you have to be productive at the same time, meaning that you need to show X number of journal papers submitted in a year, accepted in a year, published in a year. You need to show research productivity, like you need to bring in money, funds, because you need to take care of your students, because you have master's, PhD students that are under your research group. And in terms of service, you need to do things like you need to serve in, journal, as for journals as maybe reviewers. You could serve as panelists for reviewing proposals with NSF, DoD, NIH, and so on. You have to also show service in your community. You could also show that by just impactful service. Like in my case, I'm one of the advisor to the National Society of Black Engineers, so NSP. So there's so much service you could do. You could even do internal service in your department, maybe helping out with a departmental committee, like committee in charge of maybe lab, or committee in charge of scholarships, or committee in charge of different stuff. You could be external at the college level, it could be even external, outside the university. So there's a lot of service that you could do. So anyways, that is how I landed here in Texas A&M University in College Station, Texas. So I think I talk a lot, so I've kind of lost my chain of thoughts, but I was trying to connect the dots with just my transition process with again how I applied for the job. So it was 11 applications that I did after preparing those many documents to apply for a faculty tenure track faculty position. Now there's something called I think is an academic professional track, an APT. I hope I'm correct with that. So that is different. Those are more lecturer type positions. Those are more those are more purely teaching type position without any real research commitment. But I opt for the tenure track position because those were more full-time, not contract based like the APT type position. So those the tenure track positions require, and that's what I was saying, that it takes you have 5 years and to prove yourself, and the university is going to evaluate you on during that 5 years, and at the end of the 5 years, and see if you will be given what is called a tenure. A tenure is basically a job for life, as they call it, but it's just another level of freedom, as you would imagine, and your expectations are still high after getting tenure, as I've been told and as I've seen, because you still need to because after tenure as an assistant professor, in most cases you get from an assistant professor to a tenured associate professor, and it takes you some time to build impactful teaching, research, and service again, and become a full professor. So it's kind of a 3-stage process. So it's it's interesting how academia works. So anyways, let me connect the dots again. I did 11 applications. I submitted 11 applications, meaning I applied to 11 universities. I got a couple of offers, which was interesting. I wasn't expecting to get a couple of offers, but I did. And funny enough, I actually submitted the Texas A&M application as my last 11th application. So it's my 11th application that I did. So interestingly, I got a couple of offers. Of course, you have to confirm, before the offer, you have to come to what we call an on-campus visit after many phone calls and Zoom interviews and what have you. I'm just keeping all that story on the application part. Is a trust me, it's a process, a long process. In fact, at many points I didn't expect any callback or any emails, but I keep getting emails and callback and reasons to join a Zoom call to talk to another group and another group and another group. But anyways, I ended up in the case of Texas A&M, I did a couple of interviews, phone call, I believe Zoom, and then I was invited for an in-person interview. And guess what? That in-person interview happened on the Valentine weekend. Yes, it was 2020 Valentine weekend. I'm not going to tell you, why I remember that. Of course, as you would imagine, someone was kept waiting. So 2020 Valentine weekend, I came here to College Station for an in-person meeting, a face-to-face meeting, and it was interesting. I loved it at first sight. The people were nice, welcoming. Department looked like fairly good shape in terms of infrastructure, and I use the word fairly because I've been to being coming from Florida State and Florida A&M University. I've seen a lot of state of the art, especially when it comes to advanced manufacturing and all that. So, and the department was more engineering technology type, hands-on, applied engineering department. So, I'm not going to tell you too much about my impression at that first, but generally it was good. I visited the Zachary Engineering Center. It was almost brand new at that point. It was a very nice looking piece of artwork, and I just loved everything I saw. And I kind of left the post once on when I accepted the offer on LinkedIn, and I can't remember what I said, but I said something like um, Aggieland is the dreamland of research, something like that. I always try to make up words and phrases like that. But anyways, tour was good. I met new people, lots of new faces. I've never been to College Station, so I flew into this airport that was very small, almost one of the smallest airports I've seen at that point. I'm not sure that airport in Tallahassee, which was bigger, but anyways, it was great, nice. I enjoyed my time here. I was here for maybe 2 days, I believe. I had a lot of meetings, met a lot of people, met the dean of that, academic dean of that, met the chair, met student organizations, met had one-on-one meetings with some professors. I guess they opted to have a one-on-one meeting with me. So it was just it was just back-to-back activity for the entire time I was here. Fun part, I was I was housed in the then looking brand new Texas A&M University hotel. The hotel is beautiful. You need to look it up. And of course, room service was just do room service. So I enjoyed the room service. I don't play. When you give me room service, I take advantage of it. So I enjoyed my room service, and room service was nice. The food was good. I remember that for sure. And what else? I didn't do anything apart from my visit and my talk. So you have to ask, if because it's an interview. So, and of course you get to go out for breakfast, lunch, dinner with different group of people. I also at that time gave a talk. My talk was on my research. my PhD research. So I literally did a mock, my mock dissertation with them, which was really nice. I thought that was I thought that was great because I not had that opportunity to really, sometimes when you're doing a mock interview, you just well, I didn't know. I said a mock interview, like a mock presentation. I mean, it's a mock presentation, but this mock presentation was real. So the mock presentation helped me a lot when I was giving my real dissertation presentation. So because then it helped me, just focus on my slides. I love to do my slides. I love nice slides. I love presentations that look A1 flawless. So I worked a lot on my slides. Of course, I came dripping, nice outfits. I made sure my shoes were not too tight, but because I had to work all day, in fact, if you were ever going for a faculty interview face to face at a university, all right, wear comfortable shoes. My advice, right? I had comfortable shoes though, but it still hurt me, but yeah, because it was just non-stop, from one place to another, office to another, walking all day. I mean, woke up 6 a.m. and went to bed at maybe 9:10 because we had to have dinner to like from maybe 6:30 or 7 to 8:30 or so. So again, make sure you wear comfortable shoes. So now that said, yeah, I think that's how I got to A&M. So I left after the interview. Of course, I had to leave. I left after the interview, and I think after a couple of months, I got an offer, and then I compared it with the other offers I got, including some industry offers that I got. I felt that academia would give me the freedom that I wanted. I like I don't like being quote unquote bossed around. So I knew I've been in the industry. I've been there. So I did not want to go back to that you know boss you know meetings and discussions. So I just wanted my freedom, teach my classes, do my research. And I was driven by, research more, I would say. Of course, I love my class teaching. It's just seeing students, seeing their faces, and, just the kind of impact you have on them. It's just, yeah, words can explain. And I just see it as some kind of, you know, hierarchical structure where, I'm kind of building, having more, you know, kids, more friends, more people, just everyone. So, just, you're laying plenty eggs. That's kind of how I see the impact of teaching because you end up with knowing so many people, having so much connection, and the amount of people that know your work, know your person, know you in class as a teacher are way more than the amount of people so it's I just like the feeling of that impact, and especially with the communication in class during teaching. I feel like I learn more than I teach in class. You have no idea what the students know. They fascinate me with how they think about the work, the content, and it turns out to be a discussion, a shared idea. I'm not like forcing, telling you this is how it works, but bringing out my idea and waiting for you to kind of counter or just tell me how you think this, you understand this, and it's just interesting. But anyways, I like I said, I ended up accepting the Texas A&M University offer, considering other offers I had at the time. And Central Texas, you can't go wrong with that. Dallas was what, 2.5, 3 hours away. Houston was an hour, 20 minutes away. I had lots of friends in Houston and Dallas. Austin as well. I had lots of friends in Austin. So Austin is just 2.5 hours, 2 hours, depending on what part of Austin you're going. I go to downtown Austin for my office. Probably takes me 2 hours, I think so. Well, anyways, yeah, so that is my journey. I've spent 40 minutes already talking about this, and I hope to publish this on YouTube, on Cut. Take it how you see it. This is me, just telling you how I got to Texas A&M, how I got to College Station. So I hope you enjoy this, and I will be doing a part 2 of this. And it's been an interesting journey. It's been a fascinating one as well. I've enjoyed every step. I'm going into my 6th year now, so I'll be up for tenure. So meaning that a compulsory tenure, meaning I must submit my tenure packet in spring of 26. I'm working to that. I'm looking forward to that. But I'm not worried about that. I don't know why some of my colleagues get worried about such things, but I'm just enjoying my time teaching research service, getting to know my students, and just living my life. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, my name is Professor Ufodike, and as usual, I am here to help, support, and guide you, and get you to that path that will, get you to that point, that you thought you would never get to. One thing I advise you to do, if you've not done so, is get a mentor. Mentorship is, I don't think is, I think is underrated. Mentorship is so important. I have no words to explain why mentorship is important. If you don't have a mentor, get one today. Get a mentor. This is very important, not just for, just for many things, career life, spirituality, purpose. Get a mentor and thank me later, okay? I'm here to always support you, remember that. And if you have any questions, any trouble with graduate school application here in the United States of America, let me know. I will help you, I will guide you. I've been through it all, I know it all. Well, no one knows it all, but I think I've had sufficient time, failing to help you not fail. So, and that's what I always tell my students from the start. Fail early. Failure is good. There's nothing wrong with failing. Just fail early, and the more you fail, the more you learn. So failure is not a bad thing. So I failed many times. So I'm not ashamed of that. I've learned from it. So why don't you just contact me so that I can help you not fail? Now, we can fail together, we can learn together, but that might, your span of realizing or getting to success will be a lot shorter if you work with a mentor, if you work with me. So I'll help you and guide you to that dream. I know a lot of you are thinking like, graduate school, different program, different discipline. I'm engineering. Hey, and maybe you're a medical doctor, or you have some, different type of degree, and you're wondering, can I really work with this guy? Yes, you can. So I do have fair share of experience, and I've worked with a lot of mentees as well that have actually done most programs that many of you are doing or many of you have done, and I have experience working with such people, so I already have the experience. So I will help you. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Just log in. Just hit me on my DM and go to my bio. You see a lot of links. They will help you, direct you, show you, share with you some of the things I do and some of the impact that I've made. And can only say it's God. And I'm humble. I'm happy. I'm patient, and I'm hopeful. I I remain, your support and your mentor, and I want to help guide you to success. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and follow for more videos like this. I promise I will be, very open. Just ask questions. Tell me what you want to know about me. And when I get a time like this, it's hard to get such time for peaceful talk. You hear the quiet? When I get such time, I'll share real talk with you. I'll share my life experiences with you because I know that it's best that you understand where I'm coming from, so you don't think that I have not failed before, or I just it's just all been you know green flags and positive vibes. No, I've been, it's I can tell you, PhD is a roller coaster. So, and same with faculty position. So again, I want to do a video where I will also talk about being a faculty, and also compare that to industry type work. You know, a lot of PhD students, are approaching me asking me this question: should I do academia or industry? Now, this question, I know, is the same thing you're thinking. Am I really fit for academic work? Am I fit for industry work? I already spent, 46 minutes on this video, so I do not want to dive into that today. I will do that at some later time, but just come up with questions, ask me questions, real talk. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you want to know about me, what you want to hear me, share with you, and I'll find time and come out and do that. So again, let's talk. As you can see, I already spent so much time, but I like to talk a lot. But take care. Bye bye. God bless and peace.